Well, guys, it's official. As you can tell by the light over top of the door going into the garage, we have power. But I want to show you something first. Let there be light. Well, folks, as you can tell by that intro, it's been a pretty momentous weekend here in the Olde Carr Guy shop, the new shop that we're building. We finally have got power in the garage. These are the LED lights that we're using. They are T8 8-foot LEDs. And today in this episode, I'm going to show you how we're installing them, as well as how easy they are to install and the configuration that we're going to use on this 2-circuit system here in the garage. So, without further ado, let's take a look at these LEDs and see what we're dealing with. But folks, before we get started, now is the time that I'm going to ask you to hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to subscribe to Olde Carr Guy, because we've got lots more projects coming to the channel. And by you hitting the like button and subscribing tells YouTube that, well, we're doing a pretty good job over here at Olde Carr Guy, and it helps grow the channel. Also, the link in the description box below is going to give you a link to the product that we're working with today, these lights, as well as merchandise. Don't forget, you can buy yourself some Olde Carr Guy merchandise, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, all that good stuff in that link in the description box below. Let's get back to these lights and show you what we're dealing with. So this is the 8-foot tube, and as you can see on the end, it's got little 3-pin connectors, so it's your common, your hot, and your ground. And as you look down the side, you'll see that it's kind of in a V pattern. In fact, I think that's what they call these things, is a V-shaped. So the light is being transmitted out of those LEDs in 2 different directions, and giving us quite a lot of light here in the shop. Now, the other purpose of those little connectors on the end is that with this piece that's provided with it, you can link up to 5 lights together just by butting them end to end. On the ends that you're going to terminate, so for instance, if this is the end of the line over here, we can take this little cap and we can fit that right in there, and it just kind of plugs the hole and keeps dust and dirt from getting inside. It's also going to come with the pigtails so that you can plug it in and hardwire. We chose not to do that. In fact, we chose to go with the plug-in models, because when I wired up the ceiling plug-ins, they are switched to the switches over here on the wall. It also comes with this 4-foot kind of extenda cord that's got the 3 pins on either end. So for instance, we've got this bank of lights connected here. It goes along here. We've used one of those 4-foot pigtails to go across the front. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another 4-foot pigtail to go over to this one. Now, what I've got done here is this is already plugged into a light. But what we've run up against is, out of all the lights that we have, I've only got 5 of these plug-ins to go into the ceiling. Which under normal circumstances wouldn't be that big of a problem, but we've got to figure out how we're going to configure all these lights that we're going to be putting up with just 5 of those plug-ins. So I think the plan is that I want to be able to have the lights in the configuration that they're in there now, 2 by 2 the whole way down. You can see those ones are already installed, just not plugged in yet. But I also want to have lights going across the front here, some across the middle, and then just like this one, some across the back. But in order to do that, and only have 5 of these plugins, I've got to figure out how I'm going to create 4 separate circuits without having to go buy a bunch of plugins and make it work. I may still have to do that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run this circuit right here, plugged in. You got power going down that light. We're going to come across with a connector to connect that one to one over here. It will then connect to this one, and then we'll have one that's connected from there over to here. So there's 4 lights on that front section of garage. And then over here, we're going to basically do the same thing. So here's 1 circuit, there's 2, we're going to have 3 and 4, and then 5 and 6, and yes, I'm going to have more plugins. So enough talk, let's get some more lights installed, and we're going to do that to some music. Okay, so as you can see, we started with our power over here on this plug-in. Then we went down there, pigtailed onto that one, pigtailed onto this one, and then pigtailed back this way. So we've got ourselves a square. That's all on one circuit because those plug-ins over here are all on one switch. Over here, we basically did the same thing. These plug-ins are on another switch, so I can switch them off and on separately. So basically, we're going from that one back here, across the front, and then back over here, and then across that way. So we've got two big squares that's going to light up our main work area here in the shop, and that is going to be absolutely perfect. What's going to happen when I come over here, and we'll probably end up having to deal with it over here as well, is I've got these batten strips going along, covering up the horrible alignment job that we did on this Aspenite. I don't know if you can see it here, but we had to leave gaps and stagger them a little bit so that they would line up with the joists. We're not professionals, so we weren't taking as much care and consideration into certain things as we should have, like, I don't know, measurements and whatnot. But anyways, we're going to use the batten strips to cover up those seams so that when we do, that means we're going to have to suspend our lights that go this way down a little bit by the thickness of the batten strips, the strapping. So this one here is out of alignment. It should be over that way more, but that means I've got to put in a piece of batten blocking to strap it away from the ceiling so that we can center that in this bay. So once I do that, then we'll be able to have basically the same setup that we've got going over here, only we're gonna have to use just 3 lights. So one that's plugged into the power comes over here, back this way, and then back over, which kind of joins up with this light, creating another square. Once we get over to this section over here, it's not going to be that big of a deal because this is going to be mostly car storage. We've got 2 strips over there that are operated from the same light switches as the rest of the lights, but we don't need as much light over here. Having said that, these strip lights give plenty of power. It's not going to be an issue over there anyway. So what I've got to do now before we go any further is I've got to get this batten strips put into place so that we can lay out our lights properly. So I'm going to do that. You don't need to come along for that, and I'll jump back in here when I get back on the lights, and we'll show you exactly how easy it is for these things to mount in place. So as we get ready to mount these things, I wanted to show you how easy it is. If you look at the base, it's quite flat, and that's the part that goes up against the ceiling. And what you do is you take these stainless clips, I'll hold it over here so you can see the shape of it. It's basically made to clip right into that bottom base. So what we're going to do is we're going to mount this thing here and make sure that it's lined up with where we've got to mount the other one right up over on that block. And then what you do is you just kind of hook it in on one side on each clip and then snaps into place. Once it's locked, you connect your wires, you're ready to roll. And that really is all there is to it with these lights. Now the hard part obviously is getting them wired up as far as the plugins and all that stuff go. But now that we've got them in here, we've got 2 very well lit garage bays, and we got some lights down there on the end that's really gonna light this place up for us. Each are set up on their own switch. So if I want just the front, I can have just the front. If I want just the rear, same thing there. But when this thing is lit up, my goodness, there's a lot of light in this garage. So the next thing that we've got to do with this shop is get the little studio area built and get its own lighting and everything figured out. That's basically going right around here in this middle bay area. It's going to come out about 5 feet, and it's only going to be about 6 or 7 feet long, maybe 8 feet long. And it's going to be an enclosed area because we want the sound quality to be good. We are also going to make it so that we can slide a couple of doors or walls across the front to close it off when we need to. We want there to be a TV area. We want there to be a nice quiet area for doing live streams. And we also want an area to just kind of lounge around in. And if we want the bay doors to be open, letting the sun and the fresh air in while we're working away, we're taking a relax, we're having a nice cold drink, then we'll be able to do that. That's kind of the last huge milestone that we need with this garage build, is getting the power. And we're getting towards the end of winter. We're in about the middle of February right now. So here in Canada, the worst of winter really, truly is behind us. Once we get into March, whatever storms or cold weather that we have won't last very long. We still need to get the furnace installed over here. That is a priority because, well, it's still winter for now, and that will happen over the next couple of weeks. So that means we've got to get it mounted up off the ground, get a plenum built, wired up, and the chimney out through the back, as long as I can find someone to do it for me in a timely fashion. Then we should have heat and be able to be doing our live streaming out here in the very near future. We just recently upgraded to a fiber optic internet, and that's going to allow us to have high speeds and not have any problem with lagging. Once we get internet out here, then we'll be able to do lots of live streaming with either the Carr Guy and 6-Fan show or just working away out here in the shop. If you liked this video and you learned something from these lights, again, I got them on Amazon. You can find them in the link in the description box down below and enjoy what I have. They came in, they were available in 4-foot and 8-foot. You could also get them in as many or as little quantities as you want. There is a story behind why I ended up with 2 boxes instead of just 1. And well, it was due to a mistake on Amazon's part. So we'll just leave it at that. And if you want your very own, I'm gonna leave those links down below. Again, if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Olde Carr Guy. We got lots more coming on the garage build, as well as lots of projects, as you can see behind me. We've got the Monaco over here. We've got Project Dale the truck, as well as the Chrysler Cordova. And of course, you've seen Blackjack here as well. As well as the Yugo kind of sitting in the snowbank. So there is a ton of content to come on this channel, guys. Don't forget to share this out with all your friends and stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. I love you guys. God bless. Let's do it again real soon.